Hello, algebra class. All right, so we're sitting in class watching this video together, which makes it kind of awkward for me, but that's okay. I can make it work. All right, so the purpose of this is to show you what your notes are going to look like tonight for homework and to give you a little bit of background information. You do not have to write these notes down. All you need to do is sit back and watch and listen to the advice that you're given either from me live or from me on this video. That just sounds weird. All right, so over here I've got a space, and right here I said write all questions or comments in this section. Every night when you go to write your notes, I want you to leave this space on the side of your page, and I want you to write any questions that you may have. So if I give you a definition and it doesn't make any sense, put a question mark next to it or put a star next to it. So the next day when I'm looking at your notes, I can quickly see that and maybe we can talk about it without even you having to raise your hand and ask in front of the whole class. Although I highly encourage you to ask questions because chances are your question is somebody else's question too. But that's a whole different conversation. All right, so starting on these notes. So what we have, and I'm going to zoom in. So what you're going to see on the nights that you take notes is you're going to see it a little more zoomed in. So you're not going to see that space over here, so don't forget to write it. All right, so what we have is we have variables and expressions. So chances are you've seen all this before, but again, I want to give you a little background information to make sure we're all on the same page with how to take these notes. So variables are used in math for changing quantities. This allows companies to create formulas that they can plug into values. Now, it's not just companies, although companies use these all the time. This also is used in the scientific world, the banking world, anything that involves any kind of research, especially marketing, are going to need formulas to calculate the data they're looking for, and you need a variable for your unknown. So maybe a marketing company wants to survey 500 people the first time and 3,000 people the next time. They need to be able to have the same formula each time. All right, so some vocabulary that comes along with this. First of all, a variable. A variable is a letter or symbol used to represent a value that can change. So some examples that you're going to see commonly are the letter X, the letter Y, and this is the Greek letter theta. This is a value that is used to represent angles, which is more of a geometry trig thing, but you will see it one day. So a constant's a value that does not change. This is the numbers that are in the expressions. A numerical expression is an expression that contains only constants and operations. So 2 plus 3 is a numerical expression. 8 times the quantity 2 minus 7, all divided by 3. That's a numeric expression. Algebraic expression is an expression that contains a combination of variables and constants or just variables. So 2a times the quantity 3x plus 4. That's an algebraic expression. 4 times a times b times c. That's also algebraic. 3x plus 5x squared minus 4 is another algebraic expression. So this is going to contain a combination of numbers and letters. So translating English to math. I really think of math as a language. It can be translated, the words, into symbols that represent the math that we use all the time. So every operation that we use, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, exponents, logs, trig, all of that can be described using words. So for the 4 basic ones, plus, minus, times, and divide. You're not always going to say 2 plus 3. You can say the sum of 2 and 3, or you take 2 and you increase it by 3. That's all going to be indicative of addition. Then you've got subtraction. So you could use the words minus, less than, difference between 2. For multiplication, you've got the x times, or what we're going to use more of is this dot that means times, or the product of two quantities, or equal groups of, groups with a P. Where are my markers? Equal groups of. All right, then you got divided by, which is this, or a fraction bar could mean divided by or a quotient. So some examples of what you will see words changed into math. A number that is increased by 7. Whenever you see something that's really vague, like a number or some quantity, you are talking about a letter. That's where your variable is going to go. So x that is increased by, that's a plus 9, 7, x plus 7. Okay? The difference between a number and 8. Well, here's your number. Difference between being your minus sign, there's your constant, is 8. So that's just x minus 8. All right, another example, our multiplication one, 4 times a value. You can barely tell I used to have an x there. Well, my value is going to be x. So using x would be, well, weird. It'd be hard to read. So that's why we use a dot as we use more and more variables. Or we can just use 4x written side by side. 60 divided by a number, 60 divided by x. It can be written two ways. 60 divided by x using division, or 60 over x. As you grow in your math use, you'll find that fractions are more often used than this division symbol, which if you take a look at it, kind of looks like a fraction, something over something else. Expressions can also be written into words, so it goes both ways. When you see 4x plus 3, that can be written as 4 times a number, then increased by 3. Or x divided by 2 minus 7. Well, I just said it in words, x divided by 2 minus 7. Or a number, didn't go back and fix my whiteouts, divided by 2 and then reduced by 7. Some common words are also used in algebraic expressions like half. So that just means divided by 2. Or double. Alright, so double it's not one of those plus minus words. Double means you're going to multiply by 2. So those are words that are just really often used in word problems. Alright, so basic rules of fractions. Let's switch gears a little bit. Nobody likes fractions. I know, it's okay. Alright, in addition and subtraction, you have to have like denominators. Multiplication, you don't have to have like denominators. You multiply straight across. But these two, addition and subtraction, you have to get those like denominators first. In division, you use a method I call keep it, change it, flip it. Alright, you're going to keep the first fraction, change the division sign to multiplication, and flip the second fraction over. Alright, as hard as that is to remember, this is why we like the TI-30 calculator. This button right here on the calculator allows you to add, subtract, multiply, and divide fractions without having to remember any of the above rules whatsoever. So we're going to practice using this today in class. Alright, so if you have a calculator with you, you're going to hit that button and then use the up and down arrows to fill in the numerator, which is the top part, and the denominator, which is the bottom part, and use the appropriate thing. So here you're going to hit this button, then you're going to hit the number 1, down the number 2, over the plus sign, then you're going to hit the fraction button again, and you're going to put in 2, down 3, then hit the enter button in the bottom corner. And you're going to repeat that process, just changing the sign for the middle, and you're going to watch it give you a fraction back, and it is so nice. So that's it for our in-class notes. We've got some work so that we can practice some of this, and you will have similar notes for homework. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks.